Hi dear students, today I am going to talk on curriculum domains in early childhood education. So in this I am going to focus a few domains like motor skills, personal skills, cognitive skills and communication skills, and I am going to talk one by one. I will be focusing what is a particular domain and what is its important and how it gets benefit, and then we're going to move to the activity which is related to the curriculum content at the preschool. So let us understand one by one. First, move to the first domain, which is called a motor. So let us understand what is motor skills. A motor skills is a function which involves the movement of muscles, okay, with the purpose to perform a specific act. Motor is nothing but a movement of your muscle, most purposeful movement. If you want to move from here to there, you require your motor skills. It might be your different motor skills, okay. It's an ability to feel or sense what muscles are doing as they perform the act. When the child is behaving in a such act, then the child will be feeling the sense of that behavior. So let us discuss what type of motor skills you have where the child involves. That is your fine motor skills. Children with intellectual disability learn to use similar small muscles. That means children with intellectual disability, we need to focus very small muscles like your hand and finger, the wrist. These are the small. Fine motor means very small part of the body where you involve like a pincher grasp. So children with the fine motor skills, when writing or holding small items, buttoning clothing, these are all where the children with intellectual disability, they try to manipulate in their day-to-day activities. Okay, they will try to cut with the scissor, they will try to eat with the spoon, they will try to turn the page. These are all activity where your fine motor skill is involved. So that is your fine motor skills. Now let us understand what is gross motor skills. See, when children with intellectual disability learn to use their big muscles, their behaviors with the big muscles like jumping, running, catching the basket, catching the ball, riding bicycle, these are all where your big muscle is involved when the child is using it. Okay, so why this motor skill is important to intellectual disability at early stage? See, it is important so that child with intellectual disability can learn to hold a small and big object. See, you can see children with intellectual disability, they have a limited cognition, where they may not able to move in their day-to-day activity. So that's why it is very important to develop the motor skills as soon as possible, as early as possible when the child is at early stage. So to develop the writing skills, yes, when you don't have a foundation skills, when you don't teach proper motor skills like holding the small glass or beads, the child may not develop his or her writing skills when he goes to the preschool. To indulge in a play activity in the preschool, yes, to indulge in the play activity you require a motor skills. Without motor activity you cannot indulge in a play activity like running, like the crawling, jumping. This kind of activities you cannot involve it. So to participate in different role organized by the school, such as the dance at the annual day, so there also it plays an important role. Okay, so that's why we need to improve the motor skills of students with intellectual disabilities so that they can move independently when they grow up. To also to boost their physical education skills, as I said, running, jumping. So it's very important, you need to develop the motor skills in the children with intellectual disability so that they can impart their things better when they jump to the higher grades. Let us understand the components of motor skills in children with intellectual disability. There are different components like agility, that means you're training children with intellectual disability to move quickly and easily Okay, so make sure that if the child is not able to move easily, you do kind of adaptation, and you do try to move the child, very quickly. He tries to take the steps. I remember when I was working, there was one child. He never used to come whenever I call immediately. He always used to come down via staircase by keeping his both the leg at one step. So make sure that you try to improve the agility so that he comes little quickly and easily. Then balancing, you need to help the ID student to stay steady in a position so that they do not fall and do their activity without any hindrance. That's right. Then coordination, to enrich their ability to use different part of body together smoothly and efficiently, like eye hand coordination. So these components are very, very important. Power, enhancing the ability or capacity of students with ID to do something, okay, or act in a particular way. They require some sort of energy, so you need to enhance this ability so that they can impart their activity, day-to-day activity. Reaction time, helping the child to finish the activity in a given time. You would have seen, when you give the activity type, a child is taking a lot of time. So make sure that you give such to try to help the child with some modification where you help the child to finish the activity in a given time. Then speed, to make them to do or increase their speed in a given period. You give activity, but they will be very slow. When they are slow, the reaction time will be slow. So make sure that you connect the things, connect the components in a proper way. Okay, so then only there will be an increase in the time, there will be a speed in the activity. Then let us see the curriculum content of motor skills in children with intellectual disability at preschool level. Now here you can see here alphabet, elephant, shoes, lacing beads. So these are all where you can give such activities so that they can improve their fine motor skills, as well as the eye hand coordination will get improved. But our main focus is to develop the motor skills. Then stand and ice cube tray, where they will try to play with the things, and they will touch, they will develop the sense. Then spider net game, they utilize both gross motor and fine motor. Getting ready to write, gumbo grabble games, this is where you involve small things and try to manipulate with the help of beads. So that kind of activity you can indulge so that he can develop the motor activity. Then hole punch and clay games, you can give some hole punch, and you ask him to the punch in the paper, and then you can give a lot of clay where he can utilize his fine motor as well as gross motor to make a shape, different shapes. Then sand and water play will work more. So after that, a count game, then play doh and the buttons. So these are all content given in the preschool. That means before going to the kindergarten, they will try to develop the child in different motor skills. In that way, the child will be able to develop the skills when they grow to the next level of the schooling. That's why it is very, very important. Okay, so we have finished about the motor domain. We have seen what it is, why it is important, and what are the curriculum content which you need to focus on it. So it's very easy. So you need to just go through it and just write down the contents. Here they are not talking about the assessment of motor skills. When they talk about the assessment of motor skills, we will be discussing on assessment, what kind of items, questions require. But here they are just talking about the curriculum content or domain. Okay, so let us move to the next domain, which is called personal domain. So what is personal skills? Personal skill is the ability to do something well, a certain competency or proficiency. Okay, skills are typically acquired or developed through the direct experience which you experience at home, which you experience at the school. So these all things are required in day-to-day activities. So therefore the personal skills are simply those that you pose and consider your strength, and you develop the skills. So what are different types of personal skills which we use in our daily life, like eating, bathing, drinking, dressing, combing, toileting skills? These are all personal skills which require for intellectual disability initially, where so that they can develop, and then they move to the preschool, they will be quite independent. Then why this personal skill is important to intellectual disability at early stage? See, it is important so that a child with ID perform his day-to-day activity. That's quite simple, to develop the interpersonal skill. Yes, if they are good in their persona, if they are good in the personal skills or persona, that's it's quite similar. So they will be able to develop the interpersonal skills better way, to indulge independency level in toileting skills in the preschool. That is very good, to generalize the learned personal skills at the different places. And then let us see what the curriculum content of personal skills in children with intellectual disability at preschool. Training in eating skills, yes, they do teach this type of contents in the preschool level. Then teaching drinking of different stuffs like water, milk, juice, what are the modalities of the drinking, they will just try to focus in the curriculum. Awareness on toileting skills, yes, they will try to modulate with different kind of videos, different kind of flashcards. There are a lot of things, good habits where they try to focus. Takes off under the cloth to use toilet, yes, this they will try to focus. When you go to the school, you will have a lot of caretakers where they will take the small kids to the washroom, and they will try to open the zip with the, so they will try to train it. So that kind of things also happen in that curriculum. Brushing the teeth, okay, this kind of things also, and how to apply the powders, okay, this kind of activity is given for intellectual disability when they are in the regular school or the preschool or the special school. Dressing skill is also important. Then cleaning the nose with handkerchief, this can also be taught in the curriculum at the preschool level. Then washing a hand before eating snacks or food, okay, or after using a toilet. So this kind of activities can be taught to the children with intellectual disability. Wiping with the towel after the bath or after washing. So there are a lot of other personal contents which you can involve in the curriculum teaching. This is only few which I have mentioned. You can come with more kind of personal skills activities. Now let us move to the cognitive domain, which is very, very important. So what is cognitive domain? Cognitive skills are a core skill. See, we have discussed earlier that without cognitive skills, none of the domains can be achieved, whether it is personal or academic or any other domain. So cognitive skill is very important, okay, so that your brain uses to think, read, learn, remember, reason, attention, concentration. These are all cognitive factors. These are all cognitive modalities where you need to apply this. So working together, they takes incoming information and move into the bank of knowledge. You have a huge bank of knowledge. Earlier I have said in the classes that you have a bank of knowledge. You use it every day at the school, at the work, and in the life. That is day-to-day activity. That is your cognitive skills. Remember, cognitive skills are not at all the same as the subject taught in the classroom at school. Academic skill consists of various knowledge about various subjects like mathematics, EVS, science, the other domains of reading. So it's different, okay, it's not the same. You require certain learning style and strategy so that you can focus. So the key to solve these learning challenges is to strengthen the person basic processing or cognitive skill sets. That is child's basic processing skills. I have already discussed about the processing skills. Processing skill is very important. It's a part of the brain where the information it will get processed to express. So that is very, very important. So what are cognitive skills? Attention, memory, logic and reasoning, auditory and processing, visual processing. So these are few cognitive skills factors which you need to understand. And now let us see why cognitive skill is important to intellectual disability at early stage. Yes, to understand where cognitive skill fits into the child's learning. Yes, it is about how much we know as well as how effectively we process the information that child receive. That means how better the child apply his receptive language or his receptive way. Cognitive skill determine how easy, fast and well the child learn. It is important that cognitive skills are used to retain the information, process, analyze, store the facts, whatever the child has learned, whatever the teacher has taught, the feelings, and create the mental picture. Read words, understanding concept. There are a lot of things which cognitive skills plays an important role. Okay. Yes, curriculum content. Now let us see what are the curriculum content of cognitive skills. We will discuss a two condition here: thematic lesson from cognitive development. Okay, so at the different stage, the children think in a different way. You know this, and you will be. I think you would have experience in your kids whenever you would have teaching. Okay, different stage, different thinking. Children actively construct the meaning. Yes, they actively construct the meaning in a different way. A child's cognitive development builds on prior knowledge. If the child has some sort of past knowledge regarding that object, then only he can construct the new knowledge. Okay, so challenging student thought promotes the cognitive development. That means if like children with intellectual disability or autism spectrum disorder or communication or language or any other disability, these are challenging students. If you promote this in such a way, then the cognitive development will be more more accurately improved and effectively improved in in the life. Then interaction enables the cognitive growth. Whenever the child interact, it enables the cognitive growth of the child. They have to interact with the teacher, they have to interact with the peer group, they have to interact with their mother at home, society. There are a lot of way of interaction where the child must do that. Then you can see the way development of the cognitive skills. And second one is your grade specific lessons from cognitive development. Okay, so what is that? Primary grade. We are talking about the preschool. Okay, so we're going to talk about the primary grades. So children in the first several years of the school are experiencing rapid conceptual and language development as they learn to read and write. This is based on the research, so that's very true. So in terms of cognitive development, they're still developing the ability to think abstractly. As the result, concrete ideas and objects are most appreciated and understood. So make sure that in your grade specific lesson, that means a primary lesson plan, that means your Montessori lesson plan, that means your kindergarten lesson plans, you need to indulge with the concrete ideas, you need to indulge with the real objects. Then only they will understand, then only their cognitive will get mature. You cannot indulge the abstract thinking in the in the pre-primary classes, because they may not understand the abstract. They haven't seen the picture in their life, so how they will understand? If for example, if you're talking about the dinosaurs in the pre-primary, they may not understand because they haven't seen that. If they're talking about, let us say, an aeroplane during the pre-primary, if some children would have seen, he may understand, but few children may not unless you show the sound, the picture, the real objects. So this is all which you need to include in the lesson. So this is the curriculum content which you can plan via two conditions. So let us move to the other domain, which is called your communication domain. So what is communication? So communication disorder is any disorder that affect an individual's ability to comprehend, detect, apply language and speech to engage the disclosure effectively with other. That means, if you want to express, there will be a two-way, verbal and non-verbal way. Okay, so let us understand what type of communication. There are four main types of communication: verbal, non-verbal, written and visuals. There are two major language and communication skills, which is called receptive and expressive language. The receptive is where you will try to gather the information which is said by the opposite child or person, where the receptive is you will try to tell with the sound and even with the non-verbal, that is sign language. So this is how your language and communication works. Okay, whereas the children with intellectual disability, they have a difficulty in communicating. So what you have to do, make sure that you design your communication skills in such a way so that they can able to convey the information to the other people. Okay, so in that way you need to work on. So let us understand why communication skill is important to disability at early stage. See, better communicator have a great impact on learning skills. If your child is a better communication, 100% the learning skills will get improved. Highly skilled communicator child develop other skills like personal, social, interpersonal very fast. Good communicator have a high self-esteem. Yes, I know how to speak. If the child try to convey the information, then he will be more confident. He will be more confident what he will be getting it. So in that way, so the most important skill for people entering the school and the classroom very easily, so it helps the child to enter the school very easily or any other people very easily in the school. Communication is among the top traits of successful in the subject. That's right. Effective communication skill aid in development of perfect skills. That is absolutely right, because it helps the development of perfect skills. It might be any other skills as well. Then communicatory ability to speak give you the tool to participate in the society and to talk with the elder, as I said to you. So it's very, very important. If your child indulge with the better communication, he can indulge with the good things. He can develop a lot of skills. He can talk to the society, the friends, the other stakeholders whom he is working with it. So that's very, very important. So let us see the curriculum content of communication skill. Teach conversation skills. Yes, make the child to stand and ask them to conversate, ask them to talk each other. Okay, that is the way how you can make the child to learn the communication skill. Establish the listening and speaking skills. As I said you, this is very, very important. When the child with the for example, when I tell you something, how you will receive it, you will receive when you listen, right? For example, when the non-verbal child or sign language, when something he is telling to you, how you will receive. Okay, how the other guy will receive. Okay, non-verbal to non-verbal, how he will receive with the help of seeing. Okay, that means he has to see, and speaking, that means he has to understand the things very properly. Okay, so that is the way how you're going to do. So that is very, very important to teach. And teaching, practicing speaking and listening in natural settings. Okay, so this is very, very important. Teaching respectful vocabularies like thank you, welcome, hello, these all vocabularies will develop the communication skill as well. Then turn taking, when your turn comes you need to talk. So that is also a way to teach a communication skill. If not, your child will be jumped in the between when the other guys are talking. Vocabulary and grammar related to the world of communication, that's very, very important. Okay, when the child goes to the school, when he is searching for the toilet, he will see the toilet board or when he goes to the cinema theater or railway station or somewhere else, he has to read that vocabulary so that he can communicate in the proper way. Oral, written and non-verbal communication based activity, that is also very very important, which you need to focus on.